Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was for most of the day. And I am so grateful as, I meet a lot of wonderful people and I never know where I'm going to meet them. So I met a couple today. And so I want to say a big, huge thank you to the new subscribers out there. Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because I did meet somebody today and we had a great conversation. Starlight was a little high on life at the time, and so Starlight was just like a little chitterbox, and I'm normally not that chatty, chatty Kathy. But my name is Starlight, but I had to make a funny joke about Starlight's old name. And I don't know, is it Chatty Kathy with a K or a C? It fits though, no matter what, it fits. So it was great meeting a couple out today where I leave food, and that's where they found me, leaving food for people that live outside or are in need. So anyway, besides that, thank you to all of you, yes, all of you who have been here, loving and supporting Starlight and holding the fort down, and a lot of people think they can do this on their own. I tell you what, you got a lot to learn. You can't do this on your own. Starlight is Miss Independent. I've been Miss Independent my whole life. I never was that girl that says, I say this now, that I don't need a man. It's kind of funny, but now, I never really said that before. Before, I always I do need a man in my life. But as time goes on, I discovered that I really didn't need a man to fulfill me. I had to be the one to fulfill myself by loving myself unconditionally. So now I'm actually saying, hey, because of my mentor, I don't really need a man to make me, complete me. But Starlight would love to be in a healthy, loving, romantic relationship with that special someone out there in the world. So yes, we all do need each other, and I had to learn that on this journey, is that I could not do this on my own. I needed help, just like you need help, and there's no shame in that. So anyway, besides that, thank you to all of you who watch my videos, give me thumbs up, or that you leave Starlight a message down below the video. Thank you, yay, woo! And thank you for all of you, yes, all of you who take the time to share my videos, because that is how, YouTube is going to send those videos out. And if you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, by helping me out, by spreading my videos out, is going to spread that, and you will be a part of this. So this is a family of love, light, and peace here. So we're all here together, and it's not about agreeing to each other. No, because we all are not going to agree. It's about loving each other, and accepting each other. And we're all going to have differences, and that is absolutely okay. So thank you for all of you who share. And if anyone would love to reach out to Starlight, you can through my Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, anyone who would love to send any love donations, you can through my Cash App, and I will have that information here. Ping! There it is. So, I'll tell you what, I am so proud. Now, more than likely, I don't know, I could be wrong. She might not watch this video, but there's a lady out in this area, and I am clapping for her. I am so proud of her. Yes. A lot of people, they will put up with shit for a long time. But I gotta say, yay for this lady. because she recently got hired for a job out in this area. So this video is "Take This Job and Shove It." That's the title for this video. And how many of us actually, felt like that at old jobs that we used to work at, past jobs that we would, believe me, my hand goes up. And so I know I will never go for a 9-to-5 job, working for another company. And why not just start your own company, right? Or do something, on YouTube, or, write a book, whatever your dreams are. They say the stars is a limit, but it goes even beyond that, right? So I am so proud of this lady because she struggles with different things. And she did come to me not too long ago. And I was there supporting her, helping her through this time. But I realized, you know what? She's got to find out on her own, because I don't know her. And I'm like, the things that she was telling me, I was like, in time she will find out. I just hearing what I was hearing, I already knew it wasn't going to work out. And there's companies out there that they go around and they complain that they can't find anybody to work for their company. There's many reasons why that happens, so they make it look like it's all the people out there, that they're the ones that are the issue, the problem, And I've even also gone to like a gas station. Well, actually, it's not a gas station, it's a convenience store. But most of the convenience stores out in this area called Storts has a gas station. Very few that actually don't have a gas station. And I actually went into one of those Storts, to get some hot water for my coffee. And every single time I go in there, this lady always has something to say, and it's a negative, the energy, the sarcasticness and stuff like that. And that lady there was complaining how nobody wants to work. And I'm thinking, if I took this job at this place, I would never work at that company in the first place, because I knew people that worked at those kind of companies. It's a lot of work, it is a lot of work, a lot of demands, and it's hard to keep those places up. And then there's times that you're going to get shorthanded by people, and so Starlight's not really into that kind of work anyway. But like that lady there, she was saying, hey, nobody wants to work these days. But the problem might not be that nobody wants to work. Maybe nobody wants to work in that kind of energy. Because wherever you work and get a job, you're going to get, there's times that, I have to say, my son, he's been happy where he works. I've never heard a complaint. He gets along with the people. He's very happy at what he's doing. And that I told him, I said, man, you find a job that you're happy with, stay there, because that you don't want to have. So my son has done really well as far as getting jobs and not going through a whole lot of beef out there. So I'm really proud of him. And you always hear me saying about my son how I'm really proud of him. But, I was there, brought him up without no daddy the whole time. I did the whole time to bring him up by myself, homeschooled him, so it was a complete job with his mom and building up, character and building up so many things in his life. So I'm so proud of him, but it didn't happen by accident the way he turned out. And so with that being said, it's rare and it's very hard to find a company that you're happy with the pay, you're happy with the location, you're happy with the staff, the boss, the way the boss treats you, the location, how far you got to go, how much you're getting paid, So there's a lot of people, that will put up with so much and put up with it. And they think, oh, I got to have this job. I need to work at this job. And so not too long ago, this lady here, I gave her some advice, but you know what? I only can do that. The rest is up to her, and like I've done with my son. Hey, And he's been so good. He listened to his mom and he took good advice, because he's seen his mom go through a lot of crap with companies, And so as I was going through those times with old companies that I worked for, I like, hey, this is, I was learning as I was going about jobs out there, teaching them not to put up with this kind of stuff out there. Make sure you get paid what you feel like you're worth, But I'm so proud of this lady because she started this job and she wasn't even getting her breaks, and there was things that were being said, and I said, my advice is to, when you go in and communicate with her and let her know that you're supposed to have breaks. You're working more than, 3 hours or 4 hours, you're supposed to have a 15-minute break, and you're not getting that, So you got to really communicate with people, at jobs. And if something's not working out, you got to, hey, you know what? Because there are people out there, and it's all a test. All these things, at whatever job that you worked at before, wherever, if you're working at a job right now, it's a test. And not just, jobs, even relationships with people that you're involved with. And it doesn't matter who they are, all of it's a test. How much are you willing, how much are you willing to put up with? And this lady, I'm so proud of her because she didn't like the way people were being treated at this company. And that goes on a lot, and you gotta really understand that there are people that they might know how to do things to have a business, but other parts, they need a lot of learning and a lot of lessons and, how to treat people, how to, because I've worked for several companies before where there was backbiting, the supervisor was talking behind everybody's back, gossiping about them. And that is the last job that I went for as far as a 9-to-5 job. That was a long time ago when I was in New York, and I thought, well, gee, I just got out of my apartment. I was like, I'm going to show everyone how quick I can go down to the bottom and jump right back up. But it wasn't God's plan. It wasn't what God wanted. And the one thing I'll tell you what, that I learned, you don't want to freaking go against the grain. You're not going to win. If God has something for you, and that is what you're supposed to be doing, you really need to be wise, because you're going to be, you might think, oh yeah, I'll go get that job like Starlight did a while back. It was a cleaning company, because that's what I knew, and it was a mess. It was a flippin' mess, So I was putting up with so much, I couldn't believe the weight that they had me carrying. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm carrying this, how much weight, I wanted to find out, how much does this, it's where you put all your cleaning supplies into, and I forgot what the name of that is. I used to know what that, a caddy, something like that, I think. There are all these full bottles of cleaning supplies, and, I was like, nothing was right. Everything was, I worked for several cleaning companies to know that they were making everything hard for people. It wasn't worth the money to put up with all this stuff. I was thinking, all the other jobs, all the cleaning supplies are there at the company that we're going to go there to clean. Well, how come this job that we're going to, doesn't have all the cleaning supplies? And I got to carry, I am naughty sometimes. If there's two women, I want to take the load and give her, I'm always like the masculine part, wanting to make sure, I don't want to put on work onto another female. So Starlight be like, here, I'll carry the Katie or Caddy or whatever you call it. I'll carry all the supplies. You could carry that over there, the rags. You can carry the rags. I'll carry this. This is heavy. That's light. And I was like, holy. But you know what? It's like we already did how many hours, and then we were doing extra hours. We were actually covering for somebody else's job that night. So it was a lot of weight, and I felt like I was being pulled right down to the ground. The weight was so much. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It's like, why are we doing this? Nothing made any sense. I never seen a back-ass job, how every place that I went to, was half-assed. It just wasn't functioning. It wasn't just like going with the flow kind of thing. Everything was horrible. So I was like, man, I was thinking, I need this job, I need this job, I need this job, and boing, I'm like, no, I had enough. I'm not working for this company. They don't know what the blink they're doing, And so Starlight left that job, and that is why I'm so proud of this lady. She could have stayed there for a long time and just kept on putting up with it and causing a lot of stress. And I believe really you need to, really try to communicate with people, but there's times that really, when you do open up your mouth and you communicate with people, it makes things worse. Especially when you work for a company, they don't want to hear what you got, any input you have, even if the input that you have would solve all these problems. I just swear when I worked for that company, they were, not that they were, but I swear that they were just making things worse and harder for you, and that way, it was, really think about, is it worth it? No, it's not worth that much money an hour to go through this, and I had my own cleaning business, so I knew what it was like, how things should go. And I worked for several cleaning companies. So I am so proud of this lady, because she's like, I don't like how you're treating people in this place. People should not be treated like this. And she must have said this out loud, and I don't know if there's customers there, but good for her. She used her voice. She said what she needed to do, and boom, she got fired right after that. But I'm so proud of her because it does play a mind trip on people. I was thinking, I feel bad now. I did all this stuff and I said what I need. And I'm like, no, you know what? I am proud of you. And it's kind of funny. I didn't know what kind of a day she had. And I just got done going at a food pantry. It's kind of funny how God does things. She wanted to go to the park looking for me, seeing if I was there, because she wanted to be around positivity. Isn't that funny? She wanted to be around, and get some positivity because she had a rotten day at work. And it's been a struggle for her to be in there, going through the different things. And it is hard when you start out, but in time you definitely will find out whether that job is worth it or not. And it is something because I prayed today, God, please send somebody my way because I want to give this bike away. Because it's a lot of work. I got to enjoy that bike for a period of time when I had my fort where I can just ride right out there. But it's a lot of work because anytime I need to get food out of the back of my trunk of my SUV, I got to take the bike off, unstrap it, take the lock off, unstrap it off the bike rack, lift it up, take it down, go get my food, So it was just too much for me, and now it's like a big, huge relief, that I let go of that bike. It's like I was able to use it for the time that I had the fort, where, I saved on time and I was able to go out there. But ever since I don't have the fort, then it's like, you know what? That bike has been a blessing, but I need to let it go, And it's amazing how this lady had a bad day, got fired from a job, and then she bumped into me, and, this is how the universe works. I'm giving her all this food. Here, I got some food. You need some food? You want some meat? You want some vegetables? You want, whatever. And so she packed up her backpack with all this food because that's where it's going. It's going to go somewhere where it's, somebody needs. And this lady helped me out before. I got a beautiful little coffee pot, for coffee now because this lady helped me out before. She was being a blessing to me. And I didn't even ask. All I was going to do is go to her house and drop something off like I was. And then before you know it, she's given me all this stuff. I never even asked for it. So it's amazing how when you do the right thing and you make the right choices, how the universe can just like turn around. And like I said, she just got fired from that job. She met me, and bam, abundance is going in her life, because God put it on my heart to ask her if she, needed anything, needed any food. And then I was trying to give the bike away to the girl that I first was going to give it to, because she told me that at first she didn't need it, she couldn't use it. And then after I told her I was just going to keep it, then she's like, maybe I should have took that. And so I gave her a second chance if she wanted to take that bike. I said, hey, do you want this bike? Because I'm giving it away. And she let me know that she couldn't still have it. She really wanted it. And I didn't really think it was going to work because she's got bags and all that, and it would be hard for her to ride a bike. And then I asked this lady, hey, I'm giving this bike away. Could you use the bike? And so she's got the bike rack, and the pump, and the lock. That's how God just like, a negative thing happened where you think that, oh, how am I going to survive? Because I don't have this job. But here God is like blessing her because she did the right thing. Take this job and shove it. I am not working here no more. And I've sung that song many times on, getting out of jobs, and and that's how I ended up getting homeless before, because I was working for a really horrible company that wouldn't even be there for their clients, with even being sexually harassed at a job. They weren't even there. They were more concerned about losing that job for that company than being there for their staff to protect them from being sexually harassed at a company that we were cleaning for. So there are companies out there. God was pulling me out of that job, and it happened because my vehicle I had problems with my vehicle, and it couldn't make it to work that night, There's many times that we think, why did this happen? I need this job. No, you don't, because that's how God is taking you out. You might feel horrible and like, I can't even go to work. I drove a long distance for that job, like I had it was like a 45-minute drive to only do like 3 hours a night every night, except for the weekends. The little bit of money that I was making to go that far away, it was really challenging for me to go to that job because I wasn't getting enough hours. And by the time I get home, I'm done, because, it's nighttime now. So don't think that you got to put up with stuff, with companies. You're going to be tested so much coming up because there's so many things happening with AI and the way the world is going to be working. And I'll be having a video about this coming up because I just want to research it a little bit more on myself before I make this other video about something that's coming up. And things are happening quicker than you think. So I'll tell you what, put your seatbelt on because you're going to go for a heck of a ride. We're all going to be tested. There's a lot of tests that you're going to have, not just with jobs, whether you're going to stay there and put up with the shit, not just with relationships, are you going to let them run you over, all the time and let people do this and that? Those are tests. When you let go of those people, that are treating you bad or disrespecting you, like this girl, bam, the universe just poured it on her, with food, a bike rack, I got it all free and I just gave it away just like the way I received it. And it's a great shape of a bike. So that lady, she loves to ride bike, and this way now she can actually get around and do things better because she wants to better her life. So she's come a long way. I'm so proud of her to say, take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. You don't have to put up with it. And people have to have faith that all their needs are going to be met. It's not the way you think it's going to happen, though. So you just got to put your seatbelt on and say, okay, God, you pulled me out of that job for a reason. It's not good for my mental health, my emotional well-being. It's causing a lot of stress. It's not worth it. So you really got to think of the kind of job you have. Are you, happy? Because that's what you really want to be. So I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.